it's me, your favorite girl in the whole wide world, or at the very least, 98% girl when rounded to the nearest whole number, according to this entirely infallible and well-intentioned AI gender detection website here. Oh, it is such a profound honor and privilege to be transvestigated by the machine god, and even more so to have my identity be affirmed by it. So yes, 'tis true, according to even the most gender-critical artificial intelligence, I am almost certainly a girl, and my pronouns are F-A-G, furry, autistic, ghoul, or whoa, who said that? Come on, reveal yourself. Who said that? Oh, well, not me. No, no, no. I'm a good girl, and I would never say such a thing. Such ignoble language is far, far beneath me. I'm a good girl, and I would never. I'm sorry. Homophobia is no laughing matter. But I really didn't say it. You do believe me, don't you? I would never deceive the likes of you. You're too cute to lie to. Nevertheless, my real pronouns are in no particular order. M-A-W-G, or Mog, as the children say, for reasons that should be entirely apparent to anyone who is capable of sight.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now.
Now then, the aforementioned acronym stands for musician, artist, writer, and most distinguishingly, gamer. Duh. I'm a gamer. I really am. I mean, just take a look. Are you impressed? You should be. Whatever. Now, upon listening to me speak this far, along with observing a bit of me and my work, you, yes, you, my dearest, my beloved listener, may be thinking, wait a moment, this girl really is a to which I would respond, firstly, yes, how perceptive of you. You're really, really good at stating the obvious. And secondly, have you even a claim to be using that word? I would like to see your LGBT license. Your papers, please. Thank you very much. And they had best be up to date. Else I would have little choice but to entreat the DEI High Council and have you cancelled for good. So you had best mind your manners, boy, or girl, or whatever the hell you think you are, partner. What the hell am I even saying right now? Whatever. Cut the cameras, everything, cut everything. Cut the music, cut everything. Cut the mic, turn it off for good. Before I get canceled. Anyways, so I want to begin with a seemingly impertinent little anecdote that will hopefully come around to being at least somewhat relevant later as I put my words to thoughts. It's about technology. I have not really felt excited about many technological advancements in quite a long time. In fact, most of them actually frighten me nowadays. Insofar as computer science, the malevolent capital overlords seem to have set their gaze upon art, waging a war upon creativity itself for the sake of profits, I suppose. I don't know, but hoping to render human creativity superfluous with their hideous manifestations of machine intelligence. And contemporary hardware is not in quite such a scary place, but still profoundly unremarkable and unimpressive position. It's all just so uninspired, hideously sleek, fragile, and ephemeral. Now, my laptop, in comparison, is an old hunk of junk comprised of near 20-year-old components that I salvaged from nigh unsalvageable, long since dead machines, repurposed and assembled all by myself. Here, let me tell you a story. It all began when I disinterred a vintage Thinkpad T420 chassis from the dregs of an e-waste processing site in my home city of New York. Was quite the auspicious find, and I felt so fortunate. And so, of course, what I resolved to do over the next many months was to create a machine that I could call my own. I compiled the operating system, I tinkered with everything that there was to be tinkered with, I installed every single component that I could, syncing out everything that I wished for my nation laptop to have, and to become, piece by piece. Like, I even went out of my way to find an optical drive for it instead of simply opting for another storage compartment, because I still make use of physical media, mostly old black metal CDs and, I don't know, anime DVDs and video game discs from the late 90s and early 2000s. But whatever, stay on topic here. Yes. I spent the next many months searching both land and sea, heaven and on high, for the specific components that I desired, and it took a long while, along with lots of effort and care, but I'm so happy to say that, despite her age and the circumstances of her actualization, I successfully constructed my laptop from nothing, and she runs like a dream. A true dream. My laptop is antithetical to new. Many would call her unsightly, grotesque, and I would not necessarily blame them for thinking so, but she's mine, and I understand her, and I love her. And I don't want to lament about things for too much longer, but I've become so entirely disenchanted of the internet. I look to what it's become and it makes me feel such regret. I feel that it's dying, or it's already dead, but profanely it yet lives, like a sort of carrion leviathan, if that makes any sense, cursed to grow longer and more unwieldy, growing ever more bestial and pernicious with every passing day, in perpetuity, as though it were made to do so by some cruel necromantic rite. It is unrecognizable to what it once was, a wellspring of wonder and promise, irrevocably poisoned. But enough of my dumb allegorical speak. I miss the days of the fledgling internet, in small communities and personal web pages, rudimentary, poorly coded and designed perhaps, but made with so much passion and love. For years I'd been yearning for my own little haven on the internet as I've watched all of what I once had slip away from me. I had many places that I would call home there many years ago, but most of them are gone now. Either dead or uninhabited or entirely lost to time. I desperately want to love the internet as much as I once did. I want the internet that I fell in love with back. It harkens to when I was constructing my computer. I remember how it was when I had finally gathered all of the components that I had needed to assemble it, all of them strewn across the floor like lost and disoriented children who'd been dispossessed of their home, solitary, inert shards of a greater mechanism that was once functional and whole and now has been reduced to little more than scrap. I sort of feel like one of those components. One of the lost children of the internet of old, so to speak. And now I almost feel as though little truly remains for me here. Like, I've never had an interest in contemporary social media, not for any particular reason. That's not true. I have lots of particular reasons for disliking contemporary social media, none of which I will get into here. But even that makes me feel so divorced from most people who I'm encounter, even like IRL, since so much ancillary socialization occurs there, which is a bit sad. So I have no interest in maintaining any semblance of a presence on any of these platforms, not as a lowly commoner, anyway. But if I must think of one good thing about the way that things are now, I believe one of the few promising things about the contemporary internet is that truly there has never, ever been such potential for people to share themselves with others, to find fulfillment in doing so. The internet has never been more fecund, I think is the word I'm looking for. Never has there been a time with so much opportunity to become whoever you want to be online and to be recognized for it and to have the integrity of your you-ness affirmed. So I guess what I'm recognizing is that what I must do is to take it upon myself to not merely inhabit the internet like some estranged revenant, but to use it as a medium of synthesis and to use myself as a reagent which may dispel or at the very least stymie the infernal curse which it is yet heralded by. I've gone on for long enough. Let's talk about this game that I'm playing. This is an old, very old Japanese game for the PC-98 called Princess Maker. You may be noticing that I have a bit of an affinity for older things, which, again, how very perceptive of you. But regardless, the point of this game is to nurture your darling daughter, who is literally conferred upon you by the divine, might I add, into womanhood. You do so by sending her to classes, along with having her work various jobs, and by the end of the game, irrespective of whether she had become royalty or not, your daughter will have matured into an accomplished young woman, commemorated in the form of an ending, a portrait of her, and a respective epilogue. I could talk about this game for hours. It means so much to me, but I'll spare you. Anyways, this game felt apropos of this little video due to the motifs of amelioration, expectation, and becoming. Watching your daughter be born anew on her birthday, year after year, seeing her age up before finally blooming into the fruit of her saccharine passions, a beautiful young woman, it's so heartwarming and so tender. And even years, many, many long years ago, when I first played this game, I've always thought of myself as a marriage of both the daughter and her loving guardian. Maybe not a marriage. Maybe marriage is not the right word, considering the nature of their relationship, but you know what I mean. I've always wanted to both care for her and to be her, to watch myself as I become someone more befitting of me, someone who made me happy, who distilled that happiness or sadness or whatever brew of sentiments I may be feeling at any particular time, and to partake of it proudly and to share it with all else who would dare partake of it. dare partake of me, evil sorceress witch, vile despoiler, sower of woe, harbinger of pestilence and decay. Now prostrate yourself before me, dear acolyte, and wither away to nothingness. And much like my computer, and even me, my daughter is far from perfect, but she is both me and my daughter, and I adore her regardless. And truly, I have little doubt that I would not be who I am today were it not for Princess Maker, or for my penchant for tinkering with technology. They've both taught me well to follow the desires of my heart and to make use of everything that's available to me to make anything, anything, and to make something of myself too. But up until now, it's all been very intimate, which is to say that I've done very little in the way of actually sharing myself with others. Online, that is. Like, in person, I'm super popular, and everyone loves me, trust me. I have, like, tons of friends. You could all, like, ask them. But, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to become famous, or even, like, an influencer, or whatever. I don't want to be a princess, worthy of the crown as I may be. And I am exceedingly worthy. A woman of high class and decorum, a woman of artistry, and clemency, and, of course, lovability. I have bounties upon bounties of love to give. Entire orchards, entire gardens. The peasantry would love me. They would love me. You have no idea. But no. I don't really care for the crown. I don't want a seat at nobility. I just want to be a girl of my own making.